What defines an action legend, and how do they evolve with time? In this video, we're revisiting the legendary careers of Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Jean-Claude Van Damme, three stars who ruled the 80s and 90s with fists, muscles, and box office dominance. We'll explore who they were then, when action movies were king, and who they are now as actors, producers, entrepreneurs, and enduring icons in 2025. From Rambo to Terminator to Bloodsport, their legacies shaped modern action cinema. Stick with flashback fame. You'll see how these legends have continued to evolve, proving that true star power can flex with any era. Let's dive into the action. Breakout roles, iconic beginnings, then vs lasting legacy now. In the 80s, Stallone, Schwarzenegger, and Van Damme exploded onto the action scene. Stallone created and embodied Rocky and Rambo, two of the most recognizable action heroes in film history. Schwarzenegger immortalized Conan, the Barbarian, and the Terminator, blending physicality with screen presence. Van Damme became the king of martial arts cinema with Bloodsport, Kickboxer, and Universal Soldier. Then, they were the faces of the action genre worldwide. In 2025, their breakout roles remain pop culture staples, constantly referenced in films, memes, and gaming. Stallone's Rocky franchise continues through Creed. Arnold's Terminator legacy is kept alive through new installments and reboots. Van Damme's martial arts films remain streaming favorite. These early roles built legacies that continue inspiring new generations of action fans today. Box office dominance, blockbuster power then, vs modern industry role now. During the 80s and 90s, these three actors were box office gold. Stallone's Rambo, First Blood Part 2, and Rocky AV broke records. Schwarzenegger's Terminator 2 and True Lies set new standards for blockbuster spectacle. Van Damme was a consistent draw, with Time I Cop becoming his highest-grossing film. Back then, their films guaranteed packed theaters. In 2025, their box office role has shifted. Stallone is now a respected producer and creator, expanding Rocky through Creed and launching the Expendables franchise. Schwarzenegger balances acting with politics, media appearances, and global advocacy. Van Damme appears in select action projects and streaming originals. Their current industry impact isn't about headlining blockbusters. It's about shaping the genre they once dominated. They've evolved from stars to elder statesmen of action cinema. Signature personas, then vs nuanced public images now. Then, their personas were crystal clear. Stallone was the gritty underdog who never gave up. Schwarzenegger was the unstoppable machine, part superhuman, part wise-cracking hero. Van Damme embodied disciplined martial artistry and European cool. These archetypes helped sell millions of movie tickets. Now in 2025, their public images have matured. Stallone is an acclaimed filmmaker and advocate for creative control in Hollywood. Schwarzenegger is known equally for action films and environmental activism, showing humor and humility in public life. Van Damme embraces self-parody and personal growth, openly discussing past struggles and new philosophies. Today's audiences appreciate them not just for their brawn, but for their resilience, wisdom, and authenticity. They're icons with depth, not just muscle, physique, and training action bodies, then vs fitness icons now. In their prime, these stars defined the action hero physique. Stallone's shredded look in Rambo 3 was legendary. Schwarzenegger, a former Mr. Olympia, set the gold standard for cinematic muscle with Conan and Predator. Van Damme's flexibility and lean martial artist build inspired gym goers worldwide. Their physiques then became aspirational templates. In 2025, they're still fitness icons, though their focus has shifted. Stallone, in his late 70s, trains smart and promotes longevity and recovery. Schwarzenegger champions functional fitness and healthy aging, inspiring older fans to stay active. Van Damme maintains impressive flexibility and teaches martial arts philosophy. They've adapted their training, showing that fitness is a lifelong journey. Their, then, bodies built box office muscle. Now, they inspire sustainable wellness. Franchise impact, then vs franchise legacy. Now franchises were their bread and butter. Stallone's Rocky and Rambo defined franchise filmmaking in the 80s. Schwarzenegger's Terminator and Predator became sci-fi gold standard. Van Damme's Universal Soldier series proved martial arts action had sequel potential. Then, franchises built their careers. Now, these franchises continue evolving. Creed III carried Stallone's boxing legacy to new audiences. Schwarzenegger's Terminator, Dark Fate revisited the saga with modern flair. Van Damme's classics remain fan-favorite IPs, constantly streamed and referenced. Franchises that began as pure action vehicles now explore deeper storytelling and broader themes. These legends helped invent modern franchise culture, and their fingerprints are still on every reboot, sequel, and spin-off dominating today's cinematic landscape. Acting evolution: action stars then vs serious performers now. Then, acting wasn't the focus. Action and charisma ruled. Stallone's Rocky offered more emotional range, but most action films emphasized spectacle over subtlety. Schwarzenegger became beloved for his one-liners and physicality. Van Damme shone in fight choreography. Now, each has expanded his acting toolkit. Stallone won critical acclaim for his poignant performance in Creed, earning an Oscar nomination. Schwarzenegger embraces comedic and introspective roles, from Maggie to Fubart. Van Damme explored self-aware and meta roles in JCVD, surprising critics. In 2025, they're respected not just as action stars, but as actors who've matured and diversified their craft. They're living proof that even the biggest action heroes can evolve artistically. Cultural impact: pop culture titans then, vs lasting influence now. In the 80s and 90s, their cultural impact was enormous. Stallone's Rocky underdog story became an American myth. Schwarzenegger's "I'll be back" is one of cinema's most quoted lines. Van Damme's splits and spin kicks became instantly recognizable. They inspired toys, video games, parodies, and global fanbases. Now in 2025, their cultural imprint remains strong. Stallone's Rocky steps in Philadelphia are a tourist landmark. Schwarzenegger's quotes and Terminator persona live on in memes and ads. Van Damme's splits resurface regularly in viral videos and pop culture callbacks. Their influence shaped the global action genre, and modern action stars still reference them as foundational legends. They're not just past icons, they're timeless benchmarks for cinematic cool. Career setbacks. Then vs comeback journeys now, each legend faced career dips. Stallone's 90s films underperformed until Cop Land revitalized his image. Schwarzenegger's post-politics acting return had mixed results. Van Damme battled personal issues and a decline in mainstream roles. Then, comebacks were uncertain. Now, their resilience inspires. Stallone rebounded spectacularly with Rocky Balboa, Rambo, and Creed. Schwarzenegger found success blending action with self-aware humor. Van Damme won renewed respect with JCVD and cult streaming hits. In 2025, their careers are celebrated for longevity and reinvention. They showed that action stars could bounce back, adapt, and continue thriving. Their then setbacks became setups for inspiring comebacks, offering valuable lessons in perseverance. Entrepreneurial ventures, then vs business power now. In their heyday, endorsements and film salaries drove their wealth. Stallone promoted fitness and nutrition brands. Schwarzenegger marketed everything from gym equipment to Planet Hollywood. Van Damme's focus was mostly film. Now, they've expanded into serious business ventures. Stallone owns a successful production company and art business. Schwarzenegger is a real estate mogul, supplement entrepreneur, and environmental advocate. Van Damme develops martial arts programs and collaborates with brands. They've evolved from movie stars to business-savvy icons. Their, then, fame created the capital and influence to build business empires. They're more than actors. They're global brands who've mastered the modern entertainment economy. Fan engagement. Then vs interactive fandom. Now then, fan engagement was limited. Magazines, conventions, fan mail. They were distant idols. Now in 2025, interaction is direct. Stallone shares behind the scenes moments and personal reflections on Instagram. Schwarzenegger's YouTube and social media presence connects him to fans with humor and life advice. Van Damme posts training clips, interacts with martial arts communities, and embraces his fan base with gratitude. Today's fans feel closer to them than ever. Their evolution from inaccessible stars to interactive mentors mirrors modern celebrity culture. They've adapted brilliantly, staying relevant and connected across generations through digital platforms. There, now, fan engagement is warmer, more personal, and more impactful than it ever was then. Mentorship and legacy. Then vs influence on new stars. Now back then, They were the new stars breaking barriers. Now, they're mentors to the next wave. Stallone's Expendables franchise explicitly bridges action generations. Schwarzenegger champions young fitness influencers and rising action actors. Van Damme mentors martial artists and emerging filmmakers. They've shifted from competitors to role models, offering wisdom to the industry they helped build. Modern stars like Dwayne Johnson, Jason Statham, and Chris Hemsworth frequently cite them as influences. Their mentorship ensures that the spirit of 80s and 90s action continues in new forms. Their then inspired countless careers. Their no actively shapes the future of action cinema. Action legends then vest timeless icons now. In the 80s and 90s, Stallone, Schwarzenegger, and Van Damme were kings of action, unmatched at the box office. But in 2025, they've transcended that label. They're not just action stars. They're icons of perseverance, adaptability, and cultural impact. Their films remain beloved. Their influence on fitness, fashion, and fandom endures. They've shown that aging action heroes can evolve gracefully, remain relevant, and inspire millions. Today's audiences celebrate them not just for their muscle-bound past, but for their wisdom, humor, resilience, and legacy. They're living proof that true action legends are timeless. Their then made them stars. Their no cements them as legends. Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Jean-Claude Van Damme prove that true icons evolve with time. From box office titans to timeless cultural figures, their journeys inspire fans across generations. If you loved this then vs now, look at action's greatest stars. Like this video, comment with your favorite Stallone, Arnold, or Van Damme moment, and subscribe to Flashback Fame for more timeless stories of Hollywood's legends. Thanks for watching.